Why now? Why run?
You know, I think like most of us, I've been watching what's going down federally and at the state level in the legislature. I've been really disappointed with the performance of the legislature and how it doesn't seem like regular Texans are being cared for. And as a lawyer and a mom and an immigration lawyer who's been active in the community, when I heard that James Talarico was going to run for Senate and his spot was opening up as a resident of the district for a couple of decades now, I thought, you know, if there were ever a time to throw my hat in the ring, it is now.
Some of the candidates we've talked to obviously familiar with being in the Texas House in terms of whether they're chief of staff or they've worked with somebody. Do you view yourself as an outsider coming in? And if so, how do you make sure that the constituents know that you can do the job?
You know, I'm both. I'm both an outsider and an insider. I'm an outsider in that I've not been a politician. I'm an insider in that I've been really active politically. I've testified in committee hearings. I'm really familiar with the issues. And I think I have just the right amount of outsiderness because it means I'll be a creative thinker. I'm a lawyer. I know how to craft and read legislation. I also know how to lead a team. I run a law firm and I have 15 lawyers at my law firm, and I know how to find really skilled and talented and brilliant people and bring them in and form a team that does incredible work. And so that is what I will do when I get elected, is find the smartest people to come and join my team and fill in all the gaps that maybe I don't have in the institutional knowledge.
What do you think are some of the biggest issues facing District 50?
Well, I've talked to a lot of voters in District 50, and people are worried about just basic life stuff. They're worried about affordability. They're worried about education. And a big one is the attack on our democracy. And a big issue for people in the district right now, of course, is what's happening with our immigrant communities. And that happens to match up with my skill set and my history as a 20-year immigration lawyer. So I've been in the fight for immigrant families for the last 2 decades. It's been something that I've been focused on, not just when it's all over the headlines. And I think that that's really important because, you know, there's priority balancing for people that go into the Capitol. And frankly, immigration is kind of a tough one. And a lot of times this issue can fall by the wayside. And that's when we see these really harmful bills slip through committee and pass through the floor. And people are focused on other things like stopping vouchers, which is really important. But I think we, for a long time, have needed someone like me in the Capitol, someone who's not going to take their eyes off the ball of protecting families and looking out for making sure that we're not racially profiling and that our communities have a good relationship with law enforcement. That's really important.
Speaking on immigration, we have seen Governor Greg Abbott specifically very supportive of ICE operations, proud of the fact that Texas has so many deportations. Do you think Texas is doing deportations the right way?
Absolutely not. I absolutely do not. We have spent $18 billion of Texas taxpayer money on immigration enforcement, which has resulted in fewer than 1% of the border apprehensions. So it's a massive spend. It's also ineffective. We have also used our DPS troopers, our sheriffs, our police department to enforce immigration, and that has created a major cause for concern within the community in general, not just the immigrant community. And when you think about the fact that in Texas, over 40% of the people who live in this state are Latinos, when we have the majority of the people are people of color in the state, and if they're afraid of law enforcement, if they're afraid of being racially profiled, that means none of us are safe, because when the majority of us are afraid of the police, that means crimes don't get reported, investigations don't occur in the way that they need to. And so we need to clarify and make sure that in this state we care for everybody. Public safety means all of us. 40% of our construction workers are immigrants, and our economies are suffering. The medical industry, the hospitality industry, the landscaping, construction, tech, innovation, entrepreneurship, all of these are industries that are built up and bolstered by immigrants. 1 in 5 people in the state of Texas is an immigrant. And when we go after our immigrants, we are just cutting off our nose to spite our face. And I'm really interested in Texas as a whole, the economy as a whole, the prosperity of all of us. And when we go after immigrants, we're hurting everybody.
You brought up education a little bit ago, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this voucher program that has been rolled out.
I'm opposed to vouchers. I think vouchers are terrible. I think what we need is a public education system where every child in this state, regardless of their zip code, regardless of their family's income, has a quality, safe, uplifting, supportive educational opportunity. And I think that vouchers are really damaging to that, and we really need to fix school funding. We really need to increase what they call the allotment, which is how much we pay per student. And locally in Travis County and in Austin, we pay a majority of our property taxes actually leave the city. And so these are things that I think about. I'm the only mom in my race right now, and I know what it feels like to drop your kids off at school every day and to worry about them and to worry about, are they being cared for? Are they being taught? Are their brains being taught? But also, are they in a good, safe, quality environment? There's actually nothing more important.
Final question. What's something people misperceive about you?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or maybe specifically in this race, maybe not just in general, but specifically as a candidate.
You know, I think what I've heard more often than not is that, you know, I think sometimes worry that people think that I might be a one-issue gal because I am an immigration lawyer and that's what I've been doing for 20 years and that's what I end up talking about. And I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm not going to let it go. But I also am very well versed in all of the other issues. And like I mentioned, I'm a lawyer. I've been at the Capitol. I've been studying this stuff. So I think that's something that people maybe, you know, on its face, I look like an immigration lawyer lady who only talks about immigration. But if you look more deeply, I really have a nuanced understanding of policy overall.